I want to share with you a little secret I have. This secret is this amazing skincare line that I've been using now for a year. Now, I am a product queen. It is the one thing I spend money on. I don't spend a lot of money on clothes, but I love products. And I love skincare products because I want my skin to really reflect and showcase how I feel inside. But this is honestly the best product I've ever tried. And I love the fact that it's vegan, it's all natural. You could literally eat it because it's totally organic. Herbal face food. It's the most potent anti-aging, multi-correction, antiviral skincare on the market. It's magic. I can't even describe it. I use a little bit of Serum One a few times a week, and it tightens up my skin. And then it also kind of whitens it a little bit, makes it feel like all the sun damage disappears. But you can go for the Serum 2, which is like the correction, and that goes into the more sun damaged areas. So you're just going to have to try it for yourself. So go to the show notes and hit the link. Laura20 is the code for 20% off herbal face food. I love it. I love it. I want to share it with you all. I'm Laura Hyman, and welcome to Redefining Movement, a lit podcast designed to investigate all aspects of movement from my background in physical therapy and neuroscience. My mission is to help everyone find freedom through smarter movement patterns and compassion for ourselves and others, so together we can live our most uplifted lives, benefiting all beings. Welcome to Wednesday Q&A, where you all ask the questions and we answer with such enthusiasm and joy. We love your questions. I am joined, as always, by my gorgeous co-host, Kristen Williams. I give you a little bit more of a song.
Oh, I love it. Hey, everybody. Hey, Laura. How's it going?
So good. All right, we'll launch right in. This is by our friend Julie Miller. She asks, what self-care treatments do you do? For example, facial, massage, acupuncture, etc.
Oh, man. I wish I did a better job.
I know you're like asking the wrong people here, Julie.
Oh my
But I
gosh.
think we have a reason why. So, yeah.
I don't do, I think my self-care it's not stuff. People, my husband will buy me massage certificates, never get used. People will buy me facial things, don't use them. And it's not because I don't want to, it's that I just forget about them. It's not something that I derive much benefit from, like lasting benefit. I think that I find that, moving frequently, giving myself time, like what I appreciate more for self-care is just, you know what, if my body feels tired, I go and I just I turn off the computer. I go maybe for a walk in the woods, or I go lie down in my bed and read my book. So I honestly don't do that stuff. And you know what? And I'm not saying, and I'm not proud of that. I'm not bragging about that. Arguably, I should. If I had, maybe, I don't know if it's, sometimes I am a little frugal. So if I had all the money in the world and all the time in the world, I would probably do facials. I think that's good. I'm getting older. I should do more stuff for my face, for my skin. I would probably get my hair something to make it so I don't have to straighten it all the time. I would probably do some lasery type stuff for my, again, coming back to my skin, but acupuncture never felt like I needed that. I'm not counting it out. Massages never felt like I needed them. But maybe I would do one more often, or do some sort of like spa thing. But I am bad, Laura. I know you are too. You don't do that
I
stuff.
am too. Well, first of all, I think this is like a shot in the dark, maybe, but I think, I grew up with three brothers. You grew up with two. It might be totally different if we had three sisters and two sisters, like that might have been more of a way of like how young girls, as they were developing, bonded, right? Like shopping trips or whatever. And that's just not, it wasn't what, so I also think it's modeled. It wasn't what my parents did. It wasn't, and so similar to you, like I was probably in my mid 20s before I got my first pedicure. And because I was always like, why did people do their nails and toenails? This is just bizarro to me. And I do love getting a good pedicure. And for me, it's that is like not indulgent, but like self-care,
Yeah.
because they're kind of like getting in there, getting some sloughed off skin and and it's just, it feels good. And then it has an aesthetic appeal. And so to me, that would probably be the only thing. Like these other massages, I'll do them like Mark and I've talked about it before. We did the Machu Picchu hike. And when we came back, it happened to be Mother's Day, and he's like, "What?" I mean, we had one day in Cusco before we flew home, and he's like, "What do you want to do?" And I was like, "Well, I think a massage would be really nice." Of course, this was like I had 5 days of vigorous hiking, and it felt lovely. So in those situations, it's like it feels amazing, right? But I think we're both balanced in our bodies enough that we kind of know what to do, and it's usually not going and paying for a service. But like you, I'm all for people doing that. But I think it's also what's modeled. That wasn't, for both of us. My mom didn't get facials. She didn't get, that just wasn't modeled. And so that to me, I get, yeah, I probably also benefit from getting a facial scrub down. But it's
Well,
like,
full transparency. When I was working in studio, Laura, when I was teaching, that I did get pedicures.
yeah,
That was
right.
my
Because you
thing
don't
because
want
I
them,
knew
right.
people were looking at my feet.
Yes, exactly.
Now that
Exactly.
I'm
I'll
not,
look down, and now I really know like a good pedicure, somebody really doing like great stuff, like they'll get into these like nails that are kind of,
yes.
not so great or whatever. So but I think people, here's whatever you like, whether it's like you're just going somewhere and somebody is giving you energy and love in whatever form, whether it's acupuncture or massage, it's amazing. And like you, what I find the most relaxing for self-care is like being by myself and reading a book or taking a walk in the woods. And I feel like because we do so much balance movement, we don't actually need it for a therapeutic benefit to have like body care stuff. We kind of do it ourselves. But I think it's a combination. It's also like
Yeah,
kind of what was shown.
I agree.
Okay, so Julie, thank you very much for that question. Okay, so this is another person who wrote in on Instagram and asked, um, I'm sure I kind of know this intuitively, but will you explain the benefits of hiring a personal trainer or joining a fitness class or yoga class like Lit?
Hmm. You know, I think she does know it intuitively. I think the number one reason to do that is accountability. Especially because when you make an appointment for something, you're more likely to show up. So that would be for the personal trainer. I know there are a lot of people that, we all have good intentions and it's like, I'm going to go to the gym. This happens to me. I just joined a gym about 6 weeks ago and I can count on one hand the number of times I've been. Now, that's understand. I work out like a crazy person with my job. I joined the gym because we joined it as a family. I'll go with my daughter. We'll do stuff together. So to me, it's more of a social thing, which is reason number two, to join a fitness class, especially in person or like our Zooms that we do on our Lit Studio, is there's a social aspect of it. That's my favorite part about Lit Studio is I get to see these people and they're all over the world. And then afterwards we all will chit. Sometimes we don't, but sometimes they'll be like, you'll just chit chat and you'll get to know. So there's that social aspect. And that again you'll be more likely to come if you have a community and accountability. So and I mean, I do think if you have a good personal trainer, they are going to be watching how you do it. So in theory, your technique will be better. I do know there's a lot of not athletic trainers, personal trainers out there. Some personal training certifications are a weekend long, so they really don't know that much. And just know that, always be aware. But that's why people pay for private sessions with you or I, though, too. It's that extra eyeball on what we're doing, on am I doing this right? So I guess that would be number 3, technique. So accountability, community, and technique. What do you have to say to that, Laura?
I love that you mentioned those. And I think that, yeah, she like knowing it intuitively, it's almost, so I think the accountability is huge. And I feel like a lot of people really know they want that, they want to be taught something versus just coming up with things on their own. Um, and yet they just don't, they want to like, oh, what is the dollar value to this, right? If I could just go for a walk on my own, or go to my gym, my gym at my house, or pick up some weights, like what, like tell me the value of it. And I think that's, if I were going to, like we're just taking up, we just started a garden, for instance, and it's absolutely new. We're brand new gardeners. I've had Veggie Pod, which is really like gardeners for dummies. Like you cannot go wrong. It's all set up, self-irrigated and all that. But we happen to have this community plot that there was an opening, and it's great. So it's meeting all those things. It's community. There's about 20 people who have plots there. It's very convenient. It's 2 minutes from my house. But I'm not going to go in there and just be like, yeah, I'm reading a book and about it and I know what to do. Like I want to talk to people who have some experience, who that's a way of communing as well. But I want to learn. So if it's something, if you feel like, believe it or not, even though you're living in your body, a lot of people still don't know a lot about it. So think of it as education. Like you're going and you're learning about movement and how to do it well, so that it benefits you. So there's a return on your investment. And that investment is like the best investment you can give, which is because you're benefiting. So to Kristen's point, like look for a community or a teacher or a personal trainer, or like on the LIT platform, a solid, well-endorsed platform of people who are very happy with the product, because it's educated them. It hasn't just like you join, you take the class, which is awesome, and then you leave it, but you're not actually taking in the wisdom that you've accumulated in the body to transform other aspects of your life. So yeah, I'll toot our horn on that. I think we, even though there's what we do is primarily virtual, people feel like they're old friends on there, because they're all experiencing something individually and then sharing it in this collective way that feels amazing, so it's like, that's why people like really like to talk about it. And so find somebody who's talking a lot about their personal trainer or their fitness class, or like meet some LIT people, because then that'll also inspire you. Like, I want to get in on that. I want to feel good too. And it's an investment that's worthwhile.
Great question.
Yes. As you may already know, not all movement practices are designed equally. In the LIT Yoga method, we help you retrain your brain and body to move better for everyday life. Our online platform, the LIT Daily, is designed for easy convenience with a robust offering of class types, so you can boost your energy while getting stress relief. When we move better, we feel better. So sign up for our free 1-week trial and see how getting LIT can help you feel your best today and for years to come. Okay, final question for today. This is lovely from an Elizabeth. Since practicing LIT, I do feel smarter, LOL. A benefit that is unexpected and amazing. Can you briefly explain why neuroplasticity, which you speak of often, impacts our ability to feel smarter? I also, of course, feel amazing in my body, better than I have in decades. So it's just the cherry on the top to also feel like my brain is working better as well. Endless gratitude for LIT.
That's a great question. You want to start off with that one?
Yeah, I mean, this could be, as we know, this could be its own, this could be its own like podcast. So just think of neuroplasticity as the body's ability to change and grow. And we have this ability our entire lives. It's just that after a certain age, after our younger years, we have to actually put in more novelty, more challenge, all those things to continue to, otherwise it can diminish. But the capability of it to be plastic, which anytime you talk about neuroplasticity and you're talking about the ability to change, you're talking about the ability to change and grow and clear. And also, and that's what might make you feel smarter, because when you're clearer, you're absorbing things faster. You're not kind of stuck in this like slower feeling of, brain programming, downloads, and all that. And so when we're inputting more interesting information, more challenge through the body, which is a great way to do it, we're also impacting the way we respond, the way we behave. So all these elements are part of the neuroplastic journey. And so think about, like, if you're moving better and feeling better in your body, most likely you're just engaged in a different way. And that alone, whether you like took a standardized test and compared, did you get more intelligent or smarter? But that alone is going to make you feel smarter. You know what I mean? Because you're laying down more information in a clear way. And I think there's a lot more I could say about it, but that's like really the brief way of explaining it is we're really absorbing information, and that's in our bodies, but in our senses, in our environment, much clearer, brighter, better, faster. And that lays down, like, obviously can make the pathways faster for neural wiring. It can make your what's called dendritic synapses, which that come together, more complicated, which indicate more of an intelligence of sorts. But it's also just that you feel it. And I think that's it. Like, you can just take in more because you have become this clean vehicle of, and you're probably more curious, right? Because if you're doing fun things in the body, like we do interesting, challenging things purposefully. Yes, there's a lot of novelty out there that people might just do because it looks cool, but we're actually doing it for this reason, because this is when the brain is absorbing and not in autopilot. So when you're in autopilot, you do feel duller, right? It's where you just feel like, just think about it, like driving somewhere you've done a million times. I use this example. You don't feel really bright when you're doing it. You might even not even remember how you got from point A to point B. So we're just more alert. We're living in this kind of more of different wavelengths in our brain. Yeah. Anyway,
I love
that's
that. It's interesting. I was visiting a town I used to live in, and we had dinner with some friends, and the daughter of our friends had had several very severe concussions, to the point where she was a collegiate athlete, basketball player, had, I mean, I can't remember what happened, but they were high level to where, it stopped her. She took a year off of school
Oh,
because
wow.
these concussions were so bad. And to talk to her now, what they're doing so it's Louisville is where they live in Kentucky. And she started going to a pretty cutting edge neuroscience, doctor, who he'd created a brand new method of treating what started off with stroke, TBI, brain injuries that were non-concussed related, where they were doing a lot of, which, Laura, you know about, and I know about, and a lot of PTs know about this, ocular training, using your eyes. And the old protocol for concussions was to put you in a room, and no screen, no light, no stimulation. And so what's interesting about the reason I'm talking about this with neuroplasticity is, here was this girl who went through the old school treatment, and really was struggling and struggling, and then started this new treatment when she came back home and took her time off of, and she just saw this, I mean, skyrocketing how much quicker she got better. And she really, you could see her excitement about, and she knew, because she was getting educated about neuroplasticity, about her synapses, about her neurons, and about how she could track better, and about how her brain was, how hard it was for her to concentrate. But then that got easier. And then, they're now doing this type of a protocol with the college athletes at the university for reaction time. Having these kids, they don't even have to have.
right. And that's kind of how
That's
my
what you're doing with lit.
right with NDT. It was like, if this is working on people who
Yeah.
really already suck, how about the people who don't? And then yeah.
And so that's she was just like, it was phenomenal to see her excitement, but also, to see how much brighter she felt. She was exhausted. She, I mean, was really in a low place, and then has gone through basically neuroplasticity retraining
Amazing.
to
Amazing.
help her brain heal. And it healed 10 times quicker. That now they're doing, let's just call it that, neuroplasticity training for athletes who are uninjured, to improve their speed, their reaction time, their force production, I mean, all the things. And that, I think you feel smarter when you see change. And neuroplasticity is something that you do see change quickly.
Yeah,
And
you do.
it's
And all
joyous.
the things we're doing, multiple directions, your brain is taking it in and it's processing that. And the quicker and clearer you can process things, I'm not talking about quicker and clearer you're moving, but quicker and clearer you're processing this new information. That is what is, it's incredible. It does make you feel smarter, right? You're just living in a state where your brain is processing information of any kind quicker. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was just, I mean, I was like,
That
here
is
we are, we're at this table, and it's just me and this girl, like, oh yeah, oh yeah. And everybody else is like,
yeah, they're like,
I'm like,
brain, what are you
aren't
talking
you
about? Neuroplasticity.
excited?
Yeah. It's the coolest thing. Well, as always, these questions were delightful to answer, and we would love to receive any and all. You can ask us about anything, and we'll talk about it as much as we can, and bringing in our long history of experience. But please write us at support@lityoga.com. You can write us and ask anything. You can always ask to be anonymous, and we're happy to not mention your name.
Yeah, you can also find us on social media at Lara.Hyman, KB Williams 99, or at Lit Method. Just drop us a DM and we can answer your questions that way. And well, we try to fit them in a reasonable time frame. It just depends on how many we get, but we will get to your question.
We will. And serve up some more neuroplasticity and check out Lit Daily. And as always, we're pulling for you. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Redefining Movement. If you like what you've heard, please like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Feel free to leave us a rating and review or share with someone you know. Check us out at www.litmethod.com.